Hello everybody, thank you so much for joining this video. I hope you like the process of these two paintings that I will show you today. So a little while ago, I was going through some of my art books that include portrait paintings from the 17th and 18th century. Very complicated paintings that I usually don't pay a lot of attention to. But I found that when you look closely and focus on smaller parts, you can find lots of scenes to practice with. Especially when you want to practice with painting hands. These historic portrait paintings can usually be found on the internet and are great to zoom in on. So, that's what I did today. The first one is inspired by Thomas Lawrence and is called Portrait of Catherine Grey, painted in 1794. I already made a sketch and I went straight in without an underpainting. I mixed my colors carefully and kept wiping my brush off in between to avoid muddy colors. The hand had to be painted very delicately, using a soft brush, vibrant colors while avoiding harsh lines. In this era, hands were often painted very delicate and aesthetically pleasing. A lot of times you see them holding objects like flowers, fans or letters. Hands were not just portrayed for their physical correctness, but they also carried symbolic meanings. For instance, a hand gently resting on a surface might express calmness and composure, while one holding a rose could symbolize love or beauty. The positioning of the hands and what they were holding was carefully considered to add meaning to the portrait. A rose was not only decorative, but added deeper layers of meaning like youth, or even social status and wealth. Adding the highlights was the most rewarding part of this painting, and it really did something special to the hands and the rose. It gives the hand a smooth and soft touch, while the white dots on the leaves are like little drops of water. I wanted to paint this one for a long time. There was something about the style, almost ethereal. This is part of a painting that is called Boy Blowing Soap Bubbles. It is a type of artwork called vanitas, meaning vanity, and in art it refers to a genre of paintings that flourished in the Netherlands in the 17th century. It's something I wasn't familiar with. These paintings carried symbolic messages. Objects like bubbles, skulls, extinguished candles and wilting flowers were added in their paintings. Symbols such as bubbles represent life's fleeting beauty. It can pop and disappear at any moment, and it reminds us how short and fragile life is and how quickly life's beautiful moments can pass. The past couple of weeks I spent a lot of time on this painting. It is the smallest one I've ever done, but the longest I've worked on because of the difficulty of the hand and mainly the soap bubble. The hand was in a more difficult position than the previous one, and I struggled with the shadows on the back of the hand, going way too light at first, but went back and forth, making the shadows even darker. With this hand, I had to work with different colors, let's say more realistic colors, and I found that so difficult, constantly contemplating if it was too vibrant or too muddy. But I find that it is easier to go from vibrant colors to muddy colors than the other way around. This is because once colors are mixed to a point where they lose their brightness and purity, it can be challenging to regain the vibrancy and clarity of the original hues. Something I keep in mind while painting, because I make this mistake way too many times. So I saved the soap bubble for last, knowing this was gonna be very tricky. How do you actually paint a soap bubble? They are transparent and delicate and show a wide range of colors while the light reflects and refracts on the bubble's surface. There were two obvious bubbles visible, and within those bubbles more shapes slightly visible. I tried my best to keep the outlines as round as possible while painting. It took me a long time and I had to be very patient. After giving it an overall blend of colors, I started adding soft white lines and eventually built them up with very light blue paint. I made some parts inside the bubble darker for more dimension and eventually putting in more and more subtle highlights. In the end, this painting was a huge challenge for me, but very rewarding and a nice way to practice color blending, creating luminosity and portraying light effects. I hope you liked this video and maybe it gives you some new ideas to try out.